Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Absolutely. What's going on, folks? We are live. How y'all brothers doing this morning?
Good morning to you, brother. How y'all doing?
It's all good. It's all good.
Fantastically fantastic. How we gonna label it? All right. Well, y'all ready to rock?
Let's make it happen.
All
man.
right. Get it, folks.
All right, cue the music.
Cue music.
Start the music.
Starting music.
And go.
It's the Truth Be Told show, where we place America first. Honoring those who America has forgotten. Listen in and unlearn to relearn. As we set the record straight. And now, your host of the Truth Be Told show, Mr. Just Ask Joe and Uncle Nishorn.
All right. How's things going with you, brothers?
Man, I'm feeling awful good and everything. And hey, man, life is good, brother. Life is good.
That's a beautiful thing. That's what life is supposed to be, right? Life is supposed to be good. Am I right about that?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Did you say I don't know, Peter?
Is it supposed to be that way, or is it that way?
No, I mean, isn't life supposed to be good?
Yeah, but it's not always good. Life is full of challenges.
Well, absolutely, life is full of challenges. But I mean, when you boil things down, is life good for you?
It is for me.
Oh, there you go. I think in most cases, life should be good.
I bring that up. Some people think the purpose of life is to be happy, and happiness comes when you have a purpose. But that's a deeper conversation. People don't find happiness; they get all depressed, and they think they're supposed to be happy all the time.
Well, ultimately, I think the good outweighs the bad, and that is a certain level of happiness. My dad said that when my mom died in 2016, he just focused on being happy. That's it. He focused on being happy, and he said, you know what? I didn't seek after the nice cars and drop tops and money and everything, but he focused on being happy, and guess what? All of that stuff came. So he wasn't focusing on any of that stuff, but it came with him just saying, you know what? I'm going to focus from here on out in my life on being happy after losing his best friend for 38 years.
Yeah.
So what is right for us? So I got to take this right into what is right for us. So there's a couple things we can go with this. I don't want to get too off the script. I'm gonna come back to this. Let's go ahead and acknowledge that young man, that activist, okay, that died in our community, okay, that a lot of people was talking about. You know about the story?
I know about it as you post it, and I didn't know who this gentleman was.
Didn't know.
Hold on. I take this back, because when I first saw the article,
believe you don't know who he is, because
again, when I first saw the article, I was looking at the picture, and it took me a minute to realize the picture I was looking at was a picture of the reporter.
Right?
Like, why they got the reporter's picture right there? But then when I did go click and look, I said, "Oh snap, Chris died." So I was taken aback from that, because I've been out there beside that brother.
I figured you was. I know you said you was out there doing the marching. Yeah.
There was a time where in the beginning I was out there bringing ice and different things and just trying to support. I've even a couple pastors, church pastors out there.
The whole brother's name, man. Say the whole brother's name, and give you, and I'm gonna let you handle that and take it where you want to take it to honor him today on this show for his work that he put into for Breonna Taylor. Okay, for his work that he was a soldier out there trying to do what he thought his truth. I'm going to just keep it one truth.
Yeah.
And
I forget
I'm glad to see
his.
that he had the opportunity to see his work come to fruition.
Yeah, I forget that. I forget his what they called him. His real name was Chris Wells. Like I said, I didn't
Right.
know him that well, but talked to him plenty of times. Stood right beside him, and he was very passionate about this whole thing. Very, very passionate, and he did not let up. So we definitely want to tip our hat to Chris Wells, because even as we had this conversation with the lawyer recently, he as much as there were issues with the way some of the things went about, because I think you had issues with Black Lives Matter and how they handle some things, but nonetheless, the heart of it all, the true heart of it all, with those that were in that movement, specifically for Breonna Taylor, it helped. It was an asset to that whole movement. So for that, I definitely tip my hat and give a shout out to Brother Chris Wells.
Yes. Yes.
Now it says that he committed. It was a self-inflicted gunshot.
Hey,
Yeah. It sounds like.
Here's the thing. We talk about it a lot. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, he had 3 children. That's crazy. We talked open about happiness. Obviously, he was not happy to take his own life when he had 3 children to take care of as well.
And here's the thing. Trauma, I think that there's a factor to the fact that we don't address trauma that people go through. I mean, I can't speak to anything about what this man was going through outside of that Breonna Taylor situation, but it is kind of wow that he would take his own life.
Yeah, I'm reading the newspaper. If I could read this is quite interesting. In the summer 2020, Wells told the Courier Journal he quit his jobs and put his life on hold for the protest, seeing a June arrest as almost a badge of honor. Quote, "I love getting locked up," he said at the time. You know why? Because it was for standing up for what's right. I didn't get locked up for selling drugs. I didn't get locked up for killing no one. I didn't get locked up for doing anything wrong. I got locked up for standing up for what's right. End of quote.
So
I'm going to. I hate to say that, but it's a little bit misplaced.
No, Peter. You know what? I know where he's at, man. I know where he's at. He's a young blood in the 21st century. He felt that he needed to make a stand, and he put everything on the line. He put it all on the line. Who haven't put everything on the line? No matter how crazy we may think it may sound or whatever it may be, I'm gonna give him his props. I don't necessarily agree in the manner that he went about it, but the soldier, he felt he put it on the line for something that he believed in, and that I wish I didn't know that he read that, but now I read it. I'm gonna give him his props, man. Give him his props. Give it where it needed lay. He thought that this was his thing to give his life to, and he did. So for that reason, we honor him and let him do what he do. Okay.
Absolutely. So again, hats off to him. When you think about that, Leonard, real quick, when it comes to the idea of dealt with trauma, you can speak to that. How do you feel as it pertains to our community? And do you think that, because that makes me think about the whole idea of the necessity of counseling within our whole community? Do you think there's a necessity for that?
There absolutely is a necessity. Mental health is critical in our community, and there are a lot more people that suffer from different types of traumas and mental health issues than we are willing to admit. Culturally, And this goes all the way back to Africa. Culturally, we have a stigma within our community about mental health. You crazy, or he's out of his mind, or he's so and so. So we stigmatize that, and what ends up happening is those who are suffering don't get the help. Now we're doing a lot better now in addressing it because it's a conversation, but most definitely mental health, trauma, how to deal with trauma. As a war veteran myself, understanding what PTSD is. A lot of people associate PTSD with the uncle that was in Vietnam that lives down in the basement, or that sort of thing. But it's much more than that. It's any type of traumatic type of incident happening. It creates an invisible wound. That's the thing that people don't really get, is you have invisible wounds that you live with that you don't truly understand. So definitely that is a huge conversation that we need to talk about within our community, as far as what is right for us, is actually dealing with the traumas, acknowledging them, dealing with them, and being unafraid to get the help that you need to be able to go through life and handle these types of situations.
American slavery was trauma to our demographics of people. But when you try to talk it over with the dominant European culture, and I've had these conversations, they like to gloss it over, sweep it under the rug. Hey, haven't y'all done? Look at all the professional athletes is doing so well, and look, y'all doing so better in everything, and I keep telling them that a small percentage of our demographics of people. Yes. And the reason why I can speak about this too is that when you talk about the financial services, and when you see that our demographics of people have been in America for over 400 years, okay, and we still do not understand the cost averaging, investing. We don't understand what Leonard be teaching. We've been here. We was two that made this country the wealth that it is, and we ourselves have not yet been able to take advantage of the wealth that this country gives out, and it's mostly because of our own emotional things that we're dealing with that we've not yet been able to overcome. So we got to talk about it, man.
El Patar went there. It was really, I was going to ask this question, but I didn't, and he did. Who would do the counseling? Because my first thought was, okay, can we counsel each other? Okay, we talk about education and schooling and wanting American descendants of slaves as teachers, because they understand us. We understand us. So, we know how we're not just going, kids acting rambunctious, understanding the mind of a melanated child being different than that of an other, then, there is a thought there. So he went there. He said, who would do the counseling? But then at the same time, like, well, can a traumatic person,
broken people can't fix themselves, brother. I
don't know, because here's the thing: most therapists become therapists because they went to go seek out knowledge on how to fix themselves first.
All I want to say is that I've been in this conversation so many times. All I want to say says that I heard a brother say this to me before. He said, "Those who are broken, okay, can't fix themselves, but they who put you in the condition that you in can give you guidance if they themselves. This is why I keep trying to tell Peter and the dominant European culture. They have the authority to do better with the people that they put in the condition that we in if they themselves is healed from the trauma that they themselves have put ourselves in. See, they too suffer from the color construct that they have put on us. So many of them are not willing to give back and help us get through the trauma that they themselves see that we're going through. Okay. Yeah. Many of them only like to benefit from it, from capitalism and making money off us. Like, we can talk about the brother that just got put into jail. Okay. the rapper and everything. He's gonna go do 30 years and everything. Y'all know, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Mr. Kelly?
Yeah. Look at all the dominant Europe people who made money off of him. Everybody who made money off him. He wasn't financed by us.
Yeah.
He was financed by them first. But they made money off. But then now you hear them say, "Oh, he was such a horrible man," and this and that. Not before you made millions off of him. Not before you made billions off of him. Okay. So I say that we can't help ourselves until we can get the dominant European culture to understand and own up to their issues of what they did. Okay, and own up to it. Own up to it. Take your privileged position and own up to it. Peter, speak to that, man.
Well,
I mean, hey, it's almost like you telling Peter, look, go back and talk to your friends and slap the shit out of them.
Go back and talk to your people, man. Go back and talk to your people.
Look. Peter said y'all made it bad for him because now his Japanese side of the family don't want to come visit Kentucky. he said that a show or two ago. So he ain't even dealing with the dominant Europeans. He's dealing with his family culture. So.
Listen, well, here's the thing: is we have to internalize the real possibility that no one is going to understand our plight and our struggle like we do. We have to internalize that.
That's
true. We cannot just wait for people to come along or come around or whatever, because the bottom line with therapy, you know, to El Fattah Amini Ra's point, therapy is about facilitating your own self-help a lot of times, finding your own answers. Okay, you know, how do I get a pathway? Because really, that's what we want to do, is we want answers. We want, you know, to be able to help ourselves in a way. But like you said, is
I mean, I think, you know, he said, why would Europeans give back? Wouldn't that be the Europeans' demise, right?
And another point of therapy, you got to want therapy.
Yeah, you got to want it. You have to recognize, like I said, we got to recognize that there's something wrong. All right, is that some of these behaviors? Yeah,
right. We do have to recognize, right.
I mean, but think about it. Okay, I have a maze sitting on a table. I pick up a mouse and I stick that mouse in the maze. Now, there is a door at the end of that maze that mouse could go out of, but that mouse ain't figured out the door yet. You know what I mean? I ain't show him the door, nothing. And then I'll walk away from the maze and be like, you know what? Screw it. If he don't want to get out, there's a door at the end. I put him in that maze and he don't want to get out. There's a door at the end. I don't know why. I just
you sound like the European Americans talking to us. I'm just keeping it real.
Let me let him figure it out for himself. You know, where's his bootstraps? Let's pull himself up by his bootstraps. I mean, think about that. Think about that analogy.
Yeah,
that maze. I put the mouse in there, and then I walk away, hands up, saying,
"Right, exactly."
Oh well.
And I want you to get your own bootstraps to figure it out. That is exactly what the dominant European. Joe, that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy.
Leonard, go ahead, man.
Also understand this is despite putting that mouse in that maze and him having to figure out his way out, guess what? That mouse will eventually figure his way out. And then eventually he'll figure his way out. Also is you have
let's put 10 mice in there, and we'll say that 1% of them figure their way out.
Well, here's the thing. If one figures their way out, if one figures their way out, the rest will figure their way out. But here's the other thing about that is you also have agents that don't want you to figure it out.
Come on now.
They keep moving the door.
As you figure out how to get through the maze and negotiate
you got agents coming along and say, hold on.
Now you got other obstacles popping up. See, so like I said, That's the matrix.
That's
They're
the
like,
way.
they're like, oh, you know what? I went down this way a second ago. I swear we could get through, but now there's a wall. What? How did that
Right
wall
now
get
it's a
there?
wall. Okay, exactly. Because
So
because just like the bird's eye view, there's someone, the therapist or whoever, okay, octaves that's sitting in the bird's eye view, that's watching everything, and they put roadblocks and everything to help you not figure it out. And what we said earlier, we said we get distracted. Okay. And so, and I think that leads us right into the shooting and everything that took place.
Let's jump on that real quick before we go to commercial. But before we do that, El Patah, did therapy and psychology work for the slaves? Bruh, there has been years of technological advances and understanding in science and mindset and everything. So therapy today is different than therapy yesterday. We can all agree with that.
I think another question is, did slaves get therapy?
Well, he's saying, did you know that these therapists used to diagnose slaves as delusional because they wanted to run away?
Yeah, that's drapetomania. We know about that, right? But what we're talking about is we understand that a slave mindset was intentional. Okay, it was engineered to be that way.
It was engineered, right? Exactly.
So now that we have the ability to be out of a slave mindset, we now need to move ourselves into a different mindset, into a mindset of prosperity and a mindset of equity. So that's slaves was not getting up there. Matter of fact, like I said, everything was designed to keep the slaves slaves. So
I just imagine somewhere. I imagine somewhere that there's some groups of elite that man, they talking to each other. Man, my great granddaddy, he gave me the sauce, dog. My great granddaddy put it on him 400 years ago, bro.
Yeah,
200 years ago, bro. And we still got them locked in. Yeah, and they just dapping each other up or whatnot.
And the therapy that it's just like this young brother I ran into, and I'm gonna say his name, Tim Hughes. This young brother I ran into at the fair. Good brother. But let me tell you what the therapy they did for us. They gave us false Christianity. Okay, false Christianity. We supposed to have been like Nat Turner. Okay, we supposed to tuck the sauce, tuck the education, and never read the directions. We ain't supposed to ever read the directions, okay? They supposed to be able to do whatever they want to our wives and our children and everything. We supposed to just stay good servants. But what the dominant European culture doesn't realize is that just like Nat Turner, and we are in the 21st century, we waking up out of that. Okay? And what they never don't want is what Nat Turner did. And that's not what we're supposed to do. And actually, I'm going to keep that real. We're not supposed to go out and kill and murder and go out. We're supposed to find a way, okay, to make our brother, am I my brother's keeper? Find a way to make our brothers with keepers of one another. But we work so hard against that, and that the shooting is going on in our community and everything. You didn't have to tell me that it was going to be our people that got caught up in it. You didn't have to tell me that. I kind of.
Well, I mean, hey, I don't think you should be that way about it.
Oh, bro, I'm just going there, bro.
I mean, that's not even right.
I'm sorry. I know you don't want me to say it like that, right? No, you didn't even have to tell me.
Yeah, I mean, you know why? Because look at the smirk on Peter's face.
Yeah, I know.
Well, when you hear a bunch of young, but in Louisville, when you hear a bunch of young folks causing issues, I mean,
who the first people you think? I'm talking about only in Louisville. I ain't talking about. I've been living in Louisville 30 plus years. Peter just right.
Come on,
30
man.
Plus years.
If you have that thought process right there, then that's gonna be the first thing you think about in any city across the U.S. Now,
I'm only talking
none
about
of us thought. Even white people didn't think the DC sniper was black. Ain't no nigger sitting in the back of a trunk shooting nothing.
Yeah, there's outliers. There's
I
outliers.
mean, you know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, we can't just automatically do
Joe,
that. You know, now.
Hey, Joe, I understand you are of that age group, and I'm just speaking from my generation and what I'm thinking. I have been paying attention to the dilemma of our demographics of people for quite a long time in this city. I actually lived 24 years in our community. Come on, bro. I have to say that we are functional. We living in some dysfunctional mentality and doing some things. And what we think is just, you know, what these guys, what those guys thought was just fun or doing anything. It's some dysfunctional thinking there, bro. Come on, man.
I mean, absolutely. I agree. I mean, I haven't even read the story or whatever, really know what happened. But I know that at 10 o'clock at night or whatever it was, I had to jump up and jump in the car to go scoop up my kids because I get a call from my son and I hear him running saying, Dad, can you please come pick us up? They're shooting out here, you know.
And it turned out it was fireworks. There was actually, I just read the article. There was no shooting, but they did.
There was no shooting.
They arrested one young man with a stolen gun, and
I wish because, you know, just like an 18-year-old kid or whatever, and whatnot. You know, I'd love to pistol whip them right now, because the idea of my kids having to go through that's not what I'm trying for them to have to go to.
Exactly.
So, you know, I put that out there. Let me share this a lot. So whoever can see it, you know, let me go pistol whip that kid. I'm, you know, 18 years old. Guess what? You old enough to get this beaten. But nonetheless, as we move forward, we're going to go to commercial. And then when we come right back, then we're going to commemorate the 403 years of history of slaves in the U.S. And then we're going to talk about moving forward, folks. We're going to get solution driven right here on Truth Be Told. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Truth Be Told, for allowing God's Lives Matter to be a sponsor. Wearable products, as the purple t-shirt, is bearing witness. Every life created by God has infinite value. Visit God'sLivesMatter.com.
Habibi Trading Company, home of soap sticks and Saya Baba products. Over 400 locations at a store near you. Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky, Southern Indiana, or find yours online at SayaBaba.com. Again, that's SayaBaba.com. Habibi Trading Company, where you can find fragrances to incite your senses.
The History Untold 400 project is unlike any in America. This project does more than pay lip service to the 400 years since the first enslaved Africans were brought to our American shores. This project seeks to show the monumental accomplishments the descendants of American slaves have contributed to this great nation of ours. The History Untold 400 project seeks to promote a lifestyle of exclusivity for all foundational families of America. History Untold 400 project is the only movement that seeks to change the conversation and present a space that promotes an exclusive conversation for all American foundational families. And I believe in the power of the History Untold 400 project and the vision they have for all Americans.
All right, folks, we are back right here. It is the Truth Be Told show, and that History Untold 400 kind of segues us right back here into this conversation. And we're gonna go ahead and let our brother from another mother, Leonard Walker, who is multifaceted individual, and he is president of History Untold 400. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Put the picture
Awesome.
up.
Take it away.
That you did, Joe.
Yeah, we'll bring that up right now.
Yeah, Leonard, go ahead and start us off, man. You know, why August 20th, and why Bacon Rebellion, why Jamestown, you know, why is that all important to the demographics of people? If we're going to get this healing, if we're going to ever get this therapy that we need to be able to do, there's a few things. And you, my brother, I have to honestly say, when I first met you, it's you that said something that was profound. You said, until we are willing to honor those who came before us, okay, until we willing to acknowledge and give them credit for the work that they've done before us, instead of trying to chase out a reparation and get these checks, we shall and will not ever overcome the things that we need to do. I believe that's why I love this conversation about Jamestown, the Bacon Rebellion, where the color construct came from. And the only way we're going to improve our next 400 years, we got to get clarification on this. So take it away, Leonard.
All righty. I actually have visited the actual site where those 20, they say the 20 some odd slaves, some say it was 32, some say it was 26, actually visited where those slaves came into America. And I tell you what, honor is the key word here. We've had a lot of people within our bloodline and and in other people's bloodline who made tremendous sacrifices for us to have the opportunities that we have today. So this is why we honor the slaves that came before us, because we have, like I said, we have opportunities that they never possibly could have had, and it was through their sacrifice that that gave us this opportunity. So that's why we think about that, and this is a way that we have to say thank you. But not only do we say thank you with our mouths, and thank you not for being slaves or sacrificed, or thank you not for being slaves or thank slavery. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is thank you for the sacrifice, because at any given time they said, you know what, I'm not going to be a slave. I'm going to die. I'll kill myself before I live like this. But they valued life so much that they endured, and they had enough hope to where they knew that one day it's not going to be like this. And we are the fruition. We are the children of it's not going to be like this. All right. So, so like I said, we have to take advantage of our opportunities, in honoring them, because these are opportunities they never had. Even up until, like I said, when I tell the story of my grandfather, who was a college-educated man who could only get a job as a Pullman porter, making pennies and nickels and dimes. All right. He had to join the United States Navy and go off to World War II in order to increase, his marketability and skill set, all right, within this society. And, he started to make more money, but still it was not enough to buy a house, to buy a business, anything like that. But you know what about Grandpa? Grandpa never complained. Grandpa just kept going forward and kept looking forward, because he knew that the people behind him, or the people who were in front of him, rather, or people that were behind him, suffered much more. So this is why we commemorate August 20th, is so that now that we can get this mindset and say, all right, we think about them and we think about their sacrifices, and this leads into our next segue. What is it that we can do to honor our ancestors and take advantage of the opportunity that we have, so that we don't go through the things that they're going through, or the things that we're going through right now in the next 400 years? How can we make this world a better place, or at least America a better place, for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren with the actions that we do today?
And that leads me right into Joe. If you don't mind putting that flyer back up, Leonard. Appreciate you, man. We are our brother's keepers, okay, and keeping America honest, okay, keeping yeah, keeping the dominant European culture honest means it's our responsibility to make America greater than it's ever been. When I talk about that, and I'm glad Joe. I'm thankful for Joe being in my life. I'm thankful for Peter being in my life and everything. We are growing and learning together and everything about how to make America greater than it's ever been. So when I look at that first top of that flyer at the top, it says August 20th. I'm passionate about trying to say, if we're going to learn about our future, we need to learn from where we came from and where it all started, not about what took place in Africa, but what actually took place right here on the soil of America. So when I think about Jamestown, Virginia, and I think about the history that's untold, and I think about that we are uniquely Americans. See that word, uniquely Americans. We're not just Americans, we uniquely Americans because we were bred. Dr. Noah Shelton wrote the book, America's Little Black Book, about how we was intentionally bred to be ignorant, inferior, and servited to the dominant European culture on the soil of 15 slave states, okay? 15 slave states, you can look it up. It says the original 15 slave states. They're all there. And Kentucky is one of those slave states that we were proud. July the 3rd, 2017, we marched on the state capitol to acknowledge that we wanted to Kentucky to recognize our ancestors, that we were American slaves and we wanted to remove color. Leads down to the bottom one where it says, I am absolutely no longer in the box of America. I'm no longer your Negro. I'm no longer the N-word. I'm no longer American descendants. I'm no longer the African Americans. I'm no longer black. I'm ADS. I'm proud to acknowledge that I'm ADS. We need, and Joe, you did it, man. Joe, I love you, man. You don't get to decide what's best for us anymore. Yeah, I love what you wrote that at. They don't get to decide no more. We get to decide that. And our men need to be the one that decide that. Our women are looking for our men, husbands and fathers, to take the front row. Stand up. Be proud about who we are on this soil. On this soil. The question is, Joe did a great job writing this. Will you and your family be stuck in a color construct for the next 400 years? Likely you will be if we don't resolve it and fix it now. So I love that what we get ready to go talk about. How do we start preparing the young people today, our people today, to not continue being stuck in the color construct for the next 400 years?
Hold up. Because I just jumped in the chat. And Peter loves if you got a pillow and it's got any type of fluffiness to it and it looks like it's supposed to rub this way, Peter's gonna be the one to rub it the other way.
Okay, what Peter said, because I didn't see what
and he
Peter
does it all
about.
the time. But as he did even last week, as he's done plenty, because he loves to create some drama. I ain't never in my life met a white man that liked to create more drama than you, Peter. Man,
What'd he say, man? What's going on? What'd he say?
10 black slave owners. He posted a link to 10 black slave owners. What Peter does is always try to even things out, so I will, we will never forget that he's white. He's of Caucasoid persuasion. And what do you say all the time that people of Caucasoid persuasion always do? They protect their own, right?
Yeah, they protect their own, right? That's exactly.
And so if you talking about white slave owners, he's gonna throw something out about black slave owners. So here we are. We looking at I'm gonna show y'all what he post here in the chat. About these slave owners, top 10 black slave owners. And here's the thing, without going into many of this, I just wonder personally, I'm not gonna lie. I wonder, first thing that pops in my head is what were the living conditions like on a black plantation with black slaves versus living conditions like, because here's the thing. What when you look at any of these slave owners, what was the purpose of having slaves as a slave owners? It was to have workers and to make your plantation successful, right? You were a business owner, right?
Right, there you go. I'm Peter throw things out there, okay, and I do really appreciate him throwing things out there, but I really don't think he takes the time to think about what he just threw out there, okay? So, and I'm gonna let Leonard go to that. So, of course, you have black slave owners back then. They were let loose. The slaves were let loose, okay? And the only thing they knew, okay, is that they were making money and life was good being on the plantations, okay? Being on plantation, because capitalism was the only thing they understood, and running a farm is all they understood. So, of course, it makes sense that you have black, okay, we're going to use the term black slave owners, that then they themselves incorporated slaves or out of their own demographics of people to do what? Joe was leading to it, to make a living, to sustain themselves. It was a business, okay? They thought to do the same thing because they didn't know no way. They didn't know no other way. They were ignorant. Even back then, they didn't have the intelligence that we currently have today. They didn't have the knowledge that we currently have today. They were just as ignorant as the European Americans that put them in the condition that they were in. And that's my response to that. You can't use that in my thing. You can't use that to justify that slavery was okay because we did it to ourselves. That's what you're saying. That's exactly what it's saying. That's saying because they did it to themselves, slavery must have been okay. They must have wanted to be slaves. Come on, man.
Hey,
I think the question is okay, yeah, we knew that there were black slave owners. Where's the wealth?
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't get the wealth.
Where's the wealth? I mean, you're operating because, like I say, it's an agrarian society where obviously, you are in the tobacco, in the cotton.
What kind of wealth came out of that for them?
So where's the wealth? Well, guess what? Is even though they own slaves, and maybe they sold, some of their products.
Look at Peter. He is reading.
They were still they were still not going to be able.
They were still an underclass.
Well, they still were not going to be able to generate as much wealth because, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, racism is about playing as a team. So economically, if you had, obviously European or white slave owners, selling products, those that did not own slaves and needed those products were going to buy them from their own people.
Right.
This is just, you don't have any free black people and you got black slave owners. Who the hell are they going to sell their products to?
Who are they going to sell their products to?
That's pretty much where the wealth went.
That's
they lived good. They lived good, but like I said, is you got entire industries, the especially the finance industry built off of slave labor. So
they said it was a monopoly on how that money was going to roll, bro. It was a monopoly on that thing, bro. Just because I could just see. I mean, listen, I'm gonna do what Joe do. I can just see back then. Oh, I'm a slave owner like you, sir. Yes, yeah, I'm a slave owner. I got my own slave just like you, sir. And I can see Mr. Charlie say, well, congratulations for learning how to be a slave owner later. But I just need to ask you something. Who you gonna sell yourself to? Because we ain't buying from you.
But let me read this first one, number 10, because and this might create some problems, but this may be a reason why we shouldn't have a female president. I'm just gonna be chauvinistically sexist in this moment and say that. But Dilsey Pope was a free woman, and when she was older, she bought the man she loved in order to marry him. Many state laws at the time would not allow slaves to be emancipated. So it was common for family or spouses to technically own their family. Dilsey owned her husband, Dilsey owned her own house and land, and she also hired her husband out as labor. What makes this particular situation so unique is that when Dilsey and her husband had a fight, Dilsey sold him to her white neighbor out of spite. Right. While many modern women might wish to get rid of their husbands, Dilsey truly takes the cake when it comes to that method. Also, like many other spouses, she later felt bad about the argument and tried to reconcile. The only problem was that when she went to buy her husband back and apologize, her neighbor refused to sell him. So out of an emotional instance, she's, you know what you said, what? I own you, because in Louisville, all the women do like this. Let me tell you, all the sisters, they do like this. If they from Louisville, if you just walk around and you see a woman argue, she from Louisville, they do like this. All right. So she said, hey, I own you. So guess what? Hey, Charlie, hey, Charlie, hey, he acting up. Remember what I told you? Come get him. That's exactly what happened. And then later she had time to think, because emotional intelligence is about the space between action versus reaction. Exactly. The larger the space you have, the more you have time to think and move forward in a proper manner, right? But Dilsey must have had like this much space. So, she was like, hey, Charlie. So that's just crazy when you think about it. But, nonetheless, we digress as we talk about moving forward, because look, this is like the damn Bible, I mean, it is so, everybody's got their own interpretation of what happened, and you can always pull out something in order to back whatever you say up. Right. Because the reality is that ain't nobody standing in front of you to say, hey, listen, this is what this meant. Or no, nobody standing in front of you to say, I was just writing letters to the Church of Corinth. Like, what are y'all doing? There's nobody there to say that to you, right? So there's all these interpretations. But nonetheless, as we move forward, we talk about individual. What's the man up pillars again?
Man up as an individual, man up as a provider, man up as a husband, man up as a father, and man up as a community leader. If we just were to take those 5 pillars and then use the women the same thing, man up as a provider, man up woman as up. Women up, man up as.
Well, it is 2022, so you can look at the women and say man up, because
man, that's right.
Those pronouns.
You can actually look at the women. Yeah, actually, you can say woman up or man up. 2 women today, okay? Yeah. Because they want to
get the pronoun right.
Walk in our space. They want to walk in our space. So I believe those 5 man up principles. I'm glad that you brought it up, Joe. You popping all cylinders today, bro. You all over today, man. Those 5 principles are just ideal going into the 21st century and trying to do what's right for the next 400 years. What's right for the next 400? Man up, woman up as an individual. Man up, woman up as a provider.
Exactly. And so when we talk about as an individual, and that's what made me think of those pillars, because that's the direction. That's the first thing, is if we're going to move forward as a people,
we're going to move forward.
If I'm on this block and I'm out here, you know what? I can give you a prime example. I seen it in Miramar, Florida, where my family has a house right outside Dade County, right? And there was a period of time where there's a bunch of young kids growing up, and they just wreak havoc, through the neighborhood. So they took what was a nice neighborhood, ran it down the whole area. And then now, as those kids have gotten grown, moved out, or smartened up, then now the area is coming back and it's looking so much nicer. But you take my parents, they're looking down the road and seeing other people that have fixed up their place. They got copper, nice looking structures for their mailboxes. So then my parents goes and has a U-shaped driveway put in, and now when you look around, you got Mercedes, you got BMWs, you got Benzes, you got drop top Lexus. The whole neighborhood, everybody's like tightening up. Their curb appeal is looking better, and that retirement money is obvious. So with that in mind, if I tighten up myself, well, then the next person next to me that's around me, they might tighten themselves up, right? And then that's going to go from one individual to the next individual to the next individual. If I'm worried about myself and my family and focus on us and me and whatever, then we each one teach one, right? Is that what we're looking at when we say individual, Leonard?
As individuals, yeah. We can gather our knowledge from each other, but ultimately the responsibility is on us. From a military perspective, okay, soldiers are the core foundation of any military, of any army. All right, the individual soldier.
The individual soldier, right?
We have to be, individual soldiers have to be combat ready. What does that mean? All right. So it's combat ready for the military. We're going to talk about combat ready for life. Combat ready for life. All right. Are you financially sound and intelligent enough to make good choices? Are you making good social choices? All right. And personal choices, moral choices. All right. What are you doing to get yourself ready? If you want to be involved in the change that you want to see happen in the world, what are you doing as an individual to get yourself ready? You can't be ready if you can be compromised. And how do you get compromised? Compromised by, not being able to pay your bills on time, not making enough money for this, being in poor health.
But let's go deeper, Leonard. How do we get compromised? Okay, first thing is people turn on the dumb box all too much. You got to cut that. TV. What do they call it? Television programming. Right.
So, how are you? What are you doing? What are you doing to be productive? All right. How are you spending your time? Productivity is everything. Okay.
Right.
Because that's how you gain from what that's how you gain and matriculate through life. So let's look at some things that I did, or I suggest, all right, just to start out, okay, of how to transform your life to where you are ready for whatever life throws at you, all right, and how you can be honoring your ancestors. First and foremost, you have to do an introspection and be honest about yourself. Where am I at? Do I make enough money? Do I do this? Do I do that? Could I do better? All right, can I, and once you figure all of that out, then you say, all right, so what are 3 things that I can do this year, in a calendar year, all right, to improve my life? All right, that could be open up a bank account, stop smoking cigarettes. It could be maybe lose 15, 20 pounds. Okay, it could be any achievable goal that you look at, 3 of them. And you got the whole year to do 3. All right, 3 of them, whole year. So if you do this, what you'll find is that often you could add another goal up in there. You say, oh man, I knocked these 3 out. Now I could add another one up in there, right? But my point is, if you do this 3 things a year for 5 years, you will have done 15 things in 5 years, or 3 things, a year for 5 years, 15 things to improve your life. That's a whole lot, right? That now you've transformed you're not the person that you were 5 years ago. Okay. You can be ready for whatever life throws at you, and you continuously make these adjustments through life. 3 things. What's my 3 things I'm gonna do this year? What do I need to do? You know what? My license is jacked up. I need to get my license straight. I need to register to vote. I need to, easy things. These are things that we can do. So like I said, these are the things that we have to look at.
I think one of the first things, because I love what you just said, Leonard. But when I think about that, I think about, you know, coming from experience. I know, and I can be truthful and admit this. Sometimes you have so many things like your license and this and that, and
Right.
and it just seems so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
When really, you know, how do you eat an elephant one piece at a time, right?
Right.
That's the saying. I don't eat elephant. I think it would be nasty and taste
Well,
like dirt, but that's just me.
Well, you think about it like this, Joe. All right, is
Well, let me say this real quick. What I really believe is that one of the first things that everybody needs to do, if you out there working a job, you need to go and hit your EAP and find out about therapy. Okay, you need to find out about. You probably have free therapy opportunities because it's really just the ability to sit down and talk through some stuff.
Right.
And we, as it's only been 150 years. I keep going back to that. It's only been 150 years since we've been out of slavery, so that's not that long. We're still learning some of this stuff, and
actually
now
less than that, Joe.
Yeah, you're right, because it's not just, it's 150 years since you know they made the law, right? But
yeah, it took 100
maybe
years or so, right? It took 100
before they
years
stopped calling
so.
us a boy at
Right.
60 years old, right?
Right, exactly.
So,
Okay.
you know, it hasn't been that long that we've been able to walk around and actually feel free. But at the same time, there's many of us that are still stuck in the inferiority complex based on our trauma that
Right.
we turn on the dumb box and see every day. Because again, just like we talked about earlier with we you know, white people looking and saying, oh, there's a lot of wealthy black people, y'all doing good these days. Well, they always showing us on TV because we're so freaking interesting of a people, you know, because there's many different shades of us and whatnot, so we're interesting. So they always showing us on TV. They show us in the good and they show us in the bad, and they love to show the good going bad. So you know, trauma,
we don't control the media.
And exactly, we don't control it, but trauma is what is sold. Trauma is what they sell of us. That's what they take from us, and they sell that to the public in many ways, right?
Hey, Joe, we have to own up to something else. We have to own up to something else. It's what we allowed to, you know, it was a point that we didn't have. We were forced to be silent, and we were forced to be invisible, and we had to accept what the dominant European culture was doing to us culturally. This is not individual choice. It's still focusing on individual. We individually, as a demographic of people, we must get a handle on who we are, okay? And we do not have to accept the negative things that come out about us. We don't know. We don't have to turn on the negative stuff that comes on about us. We don't have to buy and purchase the negative things that are about us. When we're showing that it's profitable because we're purchasing and doing it, then we are our own problem because we're buying into
we're our own demise. So how do we get away from that? That's the question of the day, is how do we get away from that? And I want to talk about that when we come back. And I do want to hear from Peter Hayes. He's doing a lot of thug texting you know, today. So I want to hear from Peter Hayes, because he's got this article in here from the Griot. Blacks watch more TV than anybody. You know, it's programming, and apparently
it's programming.
It works, you know,
and it works.
You know, which race watches the most TV? You know, that's you know, college grads make 60K, high school grads make 32K, dropouts make 18K. I can tell you what, that man, that is true in tradition when you start relating it to jobs. I can talk about being a high school dropout. And if you know, if I made any of those numbers, I would be mad, to be honest with you. But we'll be back right here on the Truth Be Told show, folks. We got to go to commercial.
Thank you, Truth Be Told, for allowing God's Lives Matter to be a sponsor. Wearable Products, as the purple t-shirt, is bearing witness. Every life created by God has infinite value. Visit God'sLivesMatter.com.
I don't need to sit at your table. We building one. We in the process of building a table. We building a table. I don't got to sit at your table. I'm building my own table, and I will build you a table in the presence of your enemies.
Hey folks, check out HealthDaddyWow.net. 100% plant-based herbs and supplements. Whether you're in person or online, use the word tipping for 10% off. Remember, feel better, look great, HealthDaddyWow.net. Remember, HealthDaddyWow.net.
All right, cue the music.
Cueing music.
Start the music.
Starting music.
And go.
It's the Truth Be Told show, where we place America first. Honoring those who America has forgotten. Listen in and unlearn to relearn. As we set the record straight. And now, your host of the Truth Be Told show, Mr. Just Ask Joe and Uncle Mishorn.
Okay, cool. So we're back, folks. Once again, it is the Truth Be Told show. And I forgot to tell everybody that today is August the 23rd, 2022. It's Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. And this is actually the only Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 that you will ever get. So please make sure that you make today a great day. Let's peep this comment real quick. We got a couple comments out there, and let's check this out. If your today is formed from your thoughts of yesterday, then you can safely say your thoughts today will be your tomorrow. If you want to know what your tomorrow looks like, look no further than your thoughts of yourself today. Absolutely. Cybernetics and all of that good stuff. Shout out to Jessica Smith, Esoteric Concepts. Shout out to El Patah. Shout out to Tiandra Washington. Shout out to everybody who is just chiming in today. We really appreciate it. You know, it's funny sometimes I get a lot of people who will talk about, you know, the show afterwards to me. And I'll be like, man, why you ain't comment? You know,
Right.
Even if you just like did just like this, I love this piece, right? Even if you just did that,
I know a couple people who's listening to the show too, and like Strong is listening to the show, but he wants to be in the backdrop. He don't want nobody to know that he's listening.
But that's not fair, because Strong posts all type of stuff on social media all day long, all day long. Exactly. And I'm like, bro, like, why ain't you commenting on the show?
But I'm gonna be like James Brown. I'm gonna be like James Brown and say, I ain't gonna call your name, brother, because I don't want nobody to know you up in here.
There you go. But think about that. So in moving forward, you know, as we talk about this, then, you know, mindset is everything. How do we get? And I guess it starts with the individual. Leonard, you've been turning off the TV and different things. What are each of you guys doing? You know, Peter, you know, like I said, I want to hear from you. You haven't spoken much. You've been, you know, just firing shots with them fingers. What have you done in order to, as an individual, to move
next
you and yours forward?
Yeah, well, this is all good conversation. You know, I put some of the stuff, something I've been teaching, you know, found out, you know, in America, you know, you got to look at America versus other countries of the world. America, you do have the opportunity to sink or swim, by and large. You know, three things if you do in America, you have a 96% chance of not being in poverty, which is get a high school education, get a job of any kind, and number three, wait till you get married to have children. If you do those three things, getting back to Leonard's three, you have a 96% chance of staying out of poverty. And poverty, you may not be happy, because happiness and income is sometimes they're linked, but not always. There's a lot of miserable people that have money. But if you do those three things, and that relates to the man up and woman up 5, be a good individual provider means you have enough money to take care of yourself, pay your bills, and in order to do that, you need some education or a skill set. And Joe, you've been in sales, which salespeople make the most money of anybody, but that's a skill set. So you either have a comparable education or skill set, and then you're able to take care of yourself. And then when you get into a relationship, you have the ability to support, especially as a man. Traditionally, men were the breadwinners. Now that's totally different, because women are actually doing better than men these days. But anyway, so I think that, what happens is when we have especially dysfunctional families and we've talked about this, if a child is unplanned and unwanted, that's not a good foundation for them to be brought into this world, versus a married couple that is looking forward to children, even externally buys a crib, buys stuff, clothes, is waiting for that child to come into this world and willing to raise it. So that's a whole different mindset. And unfortunately, more and more Americans are born out of wedlock who basically they're not wanted. They're not planned. And mostly the guys are running off. 85% of the guys abandon the women. They get pregnant and boom. So, but it's not too hard to ask three things. Go to high school, finish, it's free, get a job, literally a McDonald's job. That statistic is not getting a good paying job. That's any job, and wait until you're married to have children. Now, the problem is our culture, and it comes back to TV. TV is not promoting that message, are they?
That's where the fight is, because it's like, okay, I think in pictures and visuals and stuff. So if I'm over here reaching to grab this person to pull them up, but then they stuck over here trying to look at this dumb box, you know what I mean? Or I grab them, we go out and we learn some stuff for the day, but then when they get home, they get back into that dumb box. Some people, again, therapy is necessary to teach people how to take the trauma and put it in its place in their lives. A lot of people have trauma people around them, and they don't know how to properly put those people in their place and get away from that. Because again, culturally in the melanated community, trauma is what is sold. That's what we sell to the world right now is trauma. And the baddies, there are so many shows on television, and I wish if I could find this video here in a minute, I'll play it again. But brother was talking about, how we sell trauma, and, you look at the other shows of others, right? Reality TV shows, ain't a whole bunch of fighting and bickering and all that stuff. But with us, and the thing about it is they tell them to do that, folks. So you're watching fake TV anyway. You call it reality TV, but it's fake TV because they tell them to do that. They tell them, to talk about this person. They tell them that, listen, we got to sell this. So, Zeus, the network, that brother there is just the owner. You can go look him up. All he does is sell trauma on his whole network. It's ridiculous, and we watch that stuff. And some people go as far as to not just watch it, but they don't have the capability to not allow it to affect their subconscious, because they're not putting anything else on top of that or positive against that in their life. So the bad is going, bad plus bad is going to equal bad, as opposed to, outweighing that bad with some good, negative and positive. You don't know geometry. I don't know how to help you. But, I mean, Leonard,
when I was down in Tampa for a month and a half, my daughter didn't have a TV, and even myself, I must say it was positive on me for a month and a half coming back to Louisville. And I don't watch a lot of TV, but news, I didn't watch any news down there. People call me from Louisville. Did you hear about this? No, dude, I was not plugged into
There's
news.
palm trees that are waving at you. You don't have time to watch the news.
Even the news is just very depressing. So yeah, I think there's a lot to the TV, the radio, the music, obviously, and and it's so
a full-on attack on people. So it ain't just us, because the Caucasoids are looking at it saying, that's those niggers, that's what they're like. And then we're looking at it and saying, those niggers.
Well, I think it affects everybody, but I think, people in the media viciously defend, well, our movie of horror movies or death, we're not promoting violence. I just can't see that they're but
the reality is that we know, everybody knows that the media is fake, and it's so much so to the point to where they literally, like my youngest son's mother is a TV news producer. She's told me they all go to like one or two sites to get reports that reporters have uploaded, right? And so when you've seen those things, you guys have all seen those videos where they'll be talking about an issue, and then they show one news report and then another news report, and they're all talking in unison about the same thing. How does that happen? Because they're all going to the same place, getting the same reports. And guess what? That is all part of the whole programming mind control as well, to make sure that we're talking in unison. I was looking last night at which, if anybody hasn't watched it, what is it? Encounters of the Fifth Kind on Amazon. Absolutely great. And, a lot of reports of where the CIA worked closely with the news media through the years in order to make sure that they weren't saying this, weren't saying that. They were saying this and were saying that. So again, we live in a matrix, a fake world, and you got to focus on how you can do better for you. Yeah. Leonard, go ahead, talk about what you're going to do to help you and yours push forward for the next 400 years.
Yeah, like I said, I've already started that process. I'm a registered voter. I'm a firearms owner. I am retired. I did the things that I needed to do to get retired and to make more money. I'm an investor. I'm an owner. Okay. Financially, I'm not a rich man by no means. Okay. But when things happen, I got the money to pay for some stuff. If some stuff breaks on my truck, let's get it fixed. I know no second thoughts about it because I got the money to do that. Right. Physically, I'm probably about 25 pounds down because I'm on a weight loss journey. I don't like to kind of say that, but I like to, I don't like to say that because I like to let people say, oh, wow, look at you. One of those things. But more importantly, more than just the weight loss, but I'm feeling healthy in my heart, my kidneys, my lungs, my internal organs are good. I'm getting the help that I need psychologically for the stress and trauma that I, suffered from being a Desert Storm veteran. All of these things to get me to a place where I can do the things that make me happy, and I can be involved in the community to make the community a better place. Yeah, most definitely. I told you my 5-year plan is to start a homestead garden. All right, go get me a nice little bit of land, start me a homestead garden, have goats and chickens and all of that. Here there's a guy from Chicago that wants to go out and be a country man. I think that's in my soul from my ancestors. I can feel the need to be able to grow things. But while doing that, I say to myself, if I have an abundance, which I probably will have an abundance, I can give to homeless shelters. I can have children, give to the school system. All right. Fresh grown vegetables and different things coming out of the garden, going to the school system or going to a homeless shelter, So I got a plan. And that's the key right there is no matter what, have a plan. You can always adjust the plan, but as long as you have one, then, you can move forward. And that's the key to moving forward is having a direction to go, a plan.
Absolutely. And, like you said, that's the key. Brother Michon, as we talk about moving forward, what are you doing to push you and yours forward in this next 400 years?
Well, I think I just gotta tie in what I'm doing, tied into what was done for me. Once I realized going home, I came back from Miami and stopped and visited with my mother and reconfirmed the things that she'd done for me. It was like 3 to 4 things that she'd done for me. Had she not done the 4 things for me, I wouldn't be here today. So, the 4 things that I say that my mother done for me is 1, she didn't abort me. My father, my actual father wanted, they had me, they had sex, like Peter was saying, had sex before marriage. And then they got married after they had sex. So I was pregnant, but come to find out my father did not want me. So my mother didn't abort me. 2, she gave me the name Michon from my father's middle name, Michon, and everything. And turned out to be a blessing to me because it helped me develop my character and everything. Growing up in Miami with the name Michon and going on different things, it's unusual, it's unique. The 3rd thing she did is that I really thank my mother for this big time, okay? Because my mother had issues with religion. She didn't like the white man's religion. She seen her own father get mistreated because he could pass as white. And she seen her father get mistreated because my grandmother was tar baby black, okay? And I found out that my granddaddy only married my grandmother solely because that his family was passing as white in Louisville, Kentucky. I didn't even know they were from Louisville and everything. But my grandfather went to Alabama, found himself a wife, my grandmother, and married her, not out of love, but he wanted his kids to be melanated, okay? To be melanated. And because of that, my mother hated religion. And so my whole childhood growing up and how unusual is this, to grow up in the 70s and 60s and 70s, and you never attend a black church. For my whole entire childhood, I never attended a black church. I never knew what a black church was until I joined the military. So my mother kept me from the traditional black church. And the
Did you attend any church? Did you attend any church? Yellow church, red church?
No church.
No church.
No,
okay.
The whole my entire childhood. When I saw people going, I had chores to do on Sunday. I thought y'all just might think it's funny, but because every time somebody came to our door, my mother used to always say, get those Jehovah Witnesses. Don't bring no Jehovah. I don't want to talk to the Jehovah Witness. So on Sunday, this is from a kid mentality and not being known. I thought it was Jehovah Witnesses every time I saw walking past me going to church and everything. I didn't know. I thought they were all Jehovah Witnesses. I said, there it is. I said this too. It's a whole lot of Jehovah Witnesses people going around. I had no idea the different religion and different churches out there. I didn't know all that until I joined the military.
You probably called them guys with the black pants, white shirt, and black tie riding 10 speeds through your neighborhood Jehovah's Witness too.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Those were the Mormons.
I thought they were all Jehovah Witnesses. And so the last thing that my mother did for me is I didn't graduate from high school. I went down the bad road. I almost tried to commit suicide because I come from a dysfunctional family. So that being said, as good as what my mother did, they were living in some dysfunctional stuff. And I won't go into it all. There was just some crazy stuff going on. And me rebelling, I rebelled.
So this is how you got here, but what are you doing? What have you done to make things better for you and yours as an individual moving forward?
Well, to get out, the last thing that my mother did for me is put me in the military. So those 4 things has helped me to do what I'm moving forward to do better for other people. Okay. So I use the same exact things that what my mother did for me. 1, I believe in pro-life. I believe that you should be married. Okay. A person ought to be married. Okay. Before they have your individual responsibility is to be married and then have child. So that ties into the first thing that my mother did with me. 2, okay, is that bottom line is you should pick the religion that's educating you in your relationship, your belief in your creator. Bottom line, I teach that through God's Lives Matter. I believe that there is a creator, but you got to decide who that is. Okay. You got to decide who that is. Okay. And third, is only 3 things. And third, live your best life based on being the best provider that you can provide by creating a perimeter around your family. So that's what I've done. I created a perimeter around my family, and I live my best life based on how I'm able to provide for my family. I think if you're not focusing on being a provider for your family and putting a perimeter around your family and keep all nonsense out of it, then you are the problem. Specifically, if you are a man, you are the problem if you do not put a perimeter around your family and have. So that's my 3 things that I suggest. That's what I do. Okay. I live the best quality of life, being the best husband. And I have a belief in my God, okay, that God put me here for a purpose. And I have a perimeter around my family to make sure that I was able to sustain that and pass that on to my family.
Absolutely. And I think those are great things there. I love what Esoteric Concepts posted here when he talked about, if you're today informed from your thoughts of yesterday, then you can safely say your thoughts today will be your tomorrow. If you want to know what your tomorrow looks like, look no further than your thoughts of yourself today. Folks, the reality is that the melanated community sells trauma to America. And the only way that we are going to get ourselves out of this situation is by turning the dumb box off, or at least picking and choosing better things to watch. Because what people don't realize is how these things affect you subconsciously. You may sit there and say, "Oh no, I'm good. But if you ain't putting nothing good in there, and you're watching all this bad, guess what? That stuff is waiting. It's waiting till you in that situation, and then you find yourself in that situation, and all that trauma that you were watching comes out.
Right.
Okay. So that could be as simple as getting stopped by an officer, and as you get stopped by an officer, you're aggressive to that officer. As soon as he comes up, why you stop me? I ain't do nothing. Blah blah blah. Okay, so aggression meets aggression. That was the whole reason why Fisher said for the National Guard not to go to the West End, but there were other powers that be that pushed that a different direction. And next thing you know, look at what happened. Aggression meets aggression. They came up in there like they was, the ish nizzle, and needed to make a point, and then boom, say his name, David McAtee. So, again, when you look at this, you have to think about what you're putting into your subconscious mind that will later come out. So if you're putting information in about financial betterment, then guess what? That's going to come out later. All right. If you're putting information in about how to be the best man you can be to your wife or your girlfriend that you want to call wife one day, then guess what? That stuff's going to come out later. So again, you have to be intentional. That's my word when I started 2022. You have to be more intentional about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, what you're putting in your mind and everything. Because the reality is that in this country, we sell trauma and we sell it to each other. And we sell it to the world. And it's terrible. Somebody need to go down and check on Oscar Manor, because I swear Enzo posts this stuff everywhere he can about people in Oscar Manor suffering, trapped in poverty and crime with no direct. Let me tell you something. When I used to do sales for was a Charter or something like that, whatever. Insight is when it was Insight Communications here. I would go and be in Oscar Manor knocking on doors, and I quickly realized that I didn't want to be in Oscar Manor because it is like the Twilight Zone on to the nth degree. That Hess gas station that used to be down there, or the 2nd Street Kroger's that was down near 2nd and Broadway, that is now that nice area that you talked about before.
Yeah. Oh, man, nice.
That used to be the Twilight Zone. It's like going to the Twilight Zone for reals, because you could just be standing there and you see all type of weird, crazy stuff that goes on and happens. And, but hey, I'm going to tell you, Enzo, positive thinking, positive working. Yeah, you need to put together a plan like Leonard.
Peter want to say something. I see.
Go ahead, Peter. Before we jump out.
Yeah, my closing comments, Joe, is you brought something hit with the boob tube. Those numbers, reading them again. Remember, in past shows we've talked about what kind of look at why the Asian American community is the number one ethnic group in America. Look at that number. So African Americans watch 213 hours more TV per month. That's 40 hours a week, and roughly 57 hours more than European Americans. So think about that. That is incredible numbers. If you're watching TV 40 hours a week, that's a full-time job. And so Asian Americans, another statistics is Asian American kids spend twice as much time doing homework versus other Americans, and they watch half the TV. And so that is kind of the key to success. They're studying, proving, and I think that's a simple solution. But you bring up a really good part about the boob tube. Well, I don't think we realize, because we're kind of like, the adage, remember the frog, if you throw a frog in boiling water, he'll jump out. But if you put a frog in, nice lukewarm water and keep on turning up a degree, that's like TV.
Yeah.
The more you get into it, that frog becomes a boiled frog. And I think we don't understand, probably the experts do, but we don't want to admit it because they are the ones control media. They're not ratting on themselves, right? The TV is not going to come out and say, yeah, we're doing bad and harmful to people putting this junk on there, or radio or the music industry. They're not going to take it upon themselves, say, yeah, we're making billions and billions of dollars by dumbing down the American people and turn them into immoral rugrats.
I think that, that makes me think of something. We should, and again, how do we change people's mindsets? It starts small, but we should do a national ADOS cut the damn TV off day.
Right.
I'm with it. Let's do it. Again, T-shirts for voting. We got a couple ideas, some slap you in your face ideas for T-shirts around voting and stuff. Let's make T-shirts for national.
I think
what about every like certain Tuesday of the month, every 4th Tuesday of the month or something, we go ahead and we cut the TV off. Y'all want to do that?
Hey, I think Truth Be Told, the History Untold should lead out with that. I think it's something we need to find something that we own. And we've been talking about that, but Joe, you all over it. I think that we should engage that. We should make that our thing. You to talk the truth. We talk about turn that damn TV off. Okay, turn it off. Okay. We should be engaging that. Okay, I like that idea. What you think? Lee?
Every fourth Monday of the month. Every fourth Monday of the month.
A week.
You cut the TV
Turn
off.
that TV off.
Monday or Tuesday.
I'm talking about I don't want to do Tuesday because our show's on Tuesday.
Well, that's what I was thinking. We could highlight it Joe, we could highlight it on our show. Hey, it's 9 a.m. You remember no TV.
We'll highlight it the week before.
TV Tuesday. That sounds good. No TV Tuesday.
There you go. The TV would be cut off by 11 o'clock every Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no more TV.
Well, imagine if the TV had only financial empowerment courses, education. It can be a valuable tool, and
but that's how you push to make that happen. Is you create a movement, and you get as many people as possible to follow that movement, and that's how you push to make that happen. Is you say, okay, we're gonna create this national ADOS.
We can bring attention to ourselves, brothers, with this conversation here. Y'all, I mean, I hope y'all not just playing. I think we could really.
I'm not worried about attention to ourselves, but I'm worried about our people's mindset and how we can focus on helping to correct that. So every what we say, fourth Tuesday of the month, by 11 o'clock a.m., because you might have to get your news on or whatever, so you can know how to drive down the freeway.
I think for the whole week,
right? But
not just one day.
Well, I mean, you got to start small, right, Leonard? You on mute, Leonard? But
you on mute, Leonard.
Okay, yeah. So you got to start small, but like I said, here's the key to that. Don't cut the TV off and then just look at YouTube or Snapchat or TikTok. All right, because now you're just getting your dopamine from somewhere else. All right, we need to get some new dope, plain and simple. Right, and this new dope got to be from reading books, reading articles, doing some work,
and self-improvement.
Meditating on your life.
Anything that's going to take you away from, I'm not watching TV right now, so I'm ready to
yard work.
Yeah, things that you need to get done.
Anything that's going to move you and yours forward. And that could be yard work, home improvement, reading a book, what have you. Anything that's going to move you and yours forward. Let's cut the dumb box off. And because again, I mean, and I'll say, I don't have regular TV programming and how everything's connected to an internet of some sort. So I get to pick and choose, but yet and still, you can find yourself watching some programming that isn't great as you pilfer through social media. So again, just cut the social media off, cut the TVs off, everything. No TV Tuesday, fourth Tuesday of every month. Let's just cut it off. And see, here's the thing. When those Nielsen ratings come out and they see that, you got hundreds of thousands to millions across the country that are cutting the TV off, that's pretty powerful in and of itself. And that gives you the opportunity to say, okay, here's what we'd like to see. Because right now you can't even cut on no show or nothing without you can't cut on no show without seeing homosexuality, lesbianism,
right?
None of that.
Exactly.
Like there's no more
TV shows. Come on, right?
Bro, it's crazy. Like I got to be forced to see it, and now in some of these shows they are getting so vulgar with it, where they're showing stuff where I'm a grown man, and now I got to sit there and cover my eyes and whatnot because I don't want to see two dudes having sex. Like it's crazy.
I don't want to see him kissing. I don't want to see any
none of that.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Forced to do it, and I gotta be like a little kid and cover my face.
That is why, that is why I put my emblem up now, and I don't want to be seen. You know what I did? I did that out of the sense of we spend so much time visual, trying to see and trying to look, okay? and we spend less time listening, paying attention. I think I would love for us, when I had my blog radio, Peter, remember I had the blog, Leonard, you was involved when I had my blog radio. How many people? We used to have multiple people on our show and everything, and they couldn't see nobody, but they can hear us. And we talked, and we just talked about all type of stuff. I would love to see no visual, just listen. Okay, there's something about just
trying to
listening.
take us back to the Stone Ages.
Yeah, just
with that. I mean,
something about
Spotify
listening.
and everybody else have added video to their.
I know.
Stuff because for a reason.
Video.
Not to go backwards, but
TikTok. Have y'all looked at? I don't even TikTok stuff. All that.
Well,
stuff.
look.
Oh my God! I don't even mess
look.
with that stuff.
We've done our closing remarks. It's time to go. Great show. Somebody go down to Dosker Manors and help Enzo out. Y'all figure that out.
Hey, Joe, Joe and Michon, can we review She-Hulk next week? That's the new movie, She-Hulk.
Oh,
She-Hulk.
The
new. Yeah, you know what? And I said I saw that, and I was like,
the new African woman, She-Woman, or that African queen.
You talking Black Panther, the new Black Panther?
No,
the new Hulk.
It's She-Hulk.
Is a woman.
Leonard, what about the other one, Leonard? The She-Warrior, Black Warrior.
Talking about Woman King.
Woman King.
Yeah, you talking about Black Panther.
No, that's not Black Panther.
Oh, there's another Woman King.
The Woman King is about the Dahomey Amazons, all right, and the battle against the French. But it's kind of history revision. The history revisionist story. It's about
her,
the actual woman herself. But like I said, is I won't get into it. People that know about the Dahomey Amazons can read for themselves about.
You bring up a good point. We should have a conversation about all these women movies and things coming up.
I don't want anyone to get it twisted and think that we're being chauvinistic and stuff like that. But the whole thing is there's a narrative that's being pushed.
A narrative,
and unfortunately, years ago we were laughing at Shanae, thinking that was funny and whatnot. But now we got Shanaes everywhere. And now even women are being competed against by men who want to poise themselves as women, which I'm sure there's plenty of transsexuals that are pissed because like, man, I went and I chopped it all off and I didn't have to do that. I could have just fought for pronoun change, but and I'm sure, people's bodies, just, you over there, your brain is looking for a penis and it ain't there. I mean, there's some psychological stuff that I'm sure happens there. But nonetheless,
a friend of mine.
That's some hellified phantom limb syndrome right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. A friend of mine, daughter, is quite big in the whole movement. She was an NCAA champion swimmer. So they had a big conference in Las Vegas with Martina Navratilova, even people. So that would be very interesting, topic. Maybe I'll see if I can get her on, guys competing as women, because that's the cause celeb right now.
Yeah.
Is the transgender and
women walked around here. Ooh, I wish I had a gay friend, so he could go shopping with me, blah, blah, blah. And now your gay friend is going to put a wig on and take your man. So, there you go. Hey, Peter, you're being called to Dosker Manor here for some business. My retail products and aviation business is designed to create 100,000 new jobs for poverty-stricken people to have a feasible home-based opportunity to earn a legit living to uplift ourselves. So need you to go check that out, Peter. We're sending you down to Dosker Manor to figure that out.
In combination, retail and aviation together?
Yeah. Enzo lives in Dosker Manor, so go check that out. It's you the business, you just grab anything moving business. So we're gonna send you down there to check that out. But folks, it has been another amazing episode of the Truth Be Told show. We got to get out of here. I think Leonard was having so much fun. He didn't even duck out like he was supposed to, and now we all in trouble because of it. So either way, it's all good. We're gonna see y'all next week. I'm gonna play this piece as we dip out of here, and I hope y'all enjoy it. It's called Black People, We Sell Drama, and I'll let y'all peep this as we go out. And
hey, good show, Joe. Good show, Peter. Good show, Leonard. Appreciate y'all, man.
Absolutely.
Everybody get some new dope. Get some new dope.
Get some new dope. That's the word. Get some new dope.
Get some new dope. That needs to be get some new dope.
Cut the dumb box off. You get some new dope and then cut the dumb box off. Hey, stop talking about it. Somebody gonna steal it.
We didn't tell these niggas they had to make money. They had to be hyper successful. They had to get all the attention. They would make the music that gets the most attention, that quote unquote makes the most money. You get what I'm saying?
They would just make music.
They will figure out what they want to do, what they want to make. But when you a nigga say he rap, nigga, okay, I want to see a Benz.
Where's the chain?
A nigga could tell you yesterday, yeah, I'm about to start rapping. But show my nigga, where your car at? You eating, right? You a rapper, you gotta have this, you gotta have that. And like I said, that's why I be on niggas like niggas want to call niggas artists, all this other shit. And shut the fuck up. For black people in general, we sell trauma. Every hot movie, every TV show for the majority. That's why Atlanta was so fucking important. And it has traumatic elements, but it's not just straight up, nigga, my life is trash. 12 Years a Slave, that Turner movie, Django, Moonlight. Let's keep it going. We can all name one right now. For black people, the black business is trauma. That's what we got. Keeping Up with the Kardashians, all these other shows, they having a good time. It's reality TV just chilling. We can't even have reality TV where niggas ain't trying to squabble.
That's right.
Trauma. So you expect a nigga to not perpetuate that when they trying to get out of a situation that you tell them that they ain't shit until they get out of it. Until a nigga got money, bro, majority of the time, the way we look at it, and I'm talking for the consensus, not everybody. The majority of people, just from what I've seen, is until you got some money, you ain't shit. Funny thing about it is niggas are so stupid. Niggas don't know where they come from and don't know we made everything. If all you can give me is money, they got to marry a rich king. Nigga, fuck you. I can go find some money somewhere. But a lot of people don't feel like that. But you got to know your self-worth and your own importance. If we not solely motivated and we not tell each other, you got to get money, you got to get out, we telling these little girls they got to marry a rich motherfucker. We telling these little boys they got to be athletes. Like, if everything was so deeply rooted in attention and money, then I feel like we would be in a better place. Everybody's head would be better. You could look at somebody who look like you, who is you, and not feel like shit because you look in the mirror and you appreciate yourself a little bit more.
All right, cue the music. Cue the music. Start the music.
Starting music.
And go.
It's the Truth Be Told show, where we place America first. Honoring those who America has forgotten. Listen in and unlearn to relearn. As we set the record straight. And now, your host of the Truth Be Told show, Mr. Just Ask Joe and Uncle Nishar.